My boyfriend handed me a list of my flaws. Fix these or I'm gone. The first line said, "Your existence is embarrassing." I folded the paper carefully. Fair enough. I packed his things into labeled boxes. I changed the Wi-Fi password, and that's when he noticed what was missing from the apartment. My name is Elena Whitmore. I'm 35 years old. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, and I recently learned that some people mistake patience for weakness, until they realize it was never weakness at all. He moved into my apartment 8 months ago. I owned it outright. Bought it back when the market dipped and everyone else was too afraid to invest. It's not flashy, but it's mine. That mattered to me. His lease was ending. It made sense. Save money. Spend more time together. Test compatibility. At first, it felt normal. He had opinions about my furniture. Said my couch looked like something a grad student would buy. He suggested new artwork. Something more sophisticated. He reorganized my bookshelf by color instead of genre and laughed when I quietly moved my sci-fi novels back together. I told myself relationships required adjustment. By month 4, the tone changed. "You're too comfortable," he said one Sunday morning while I was still in pajamas at 11 a.m. "Comfortable is good," I replied lightly. "Comfortable is stagnant." He started commenting on how casually I dressed, on how long I'd been at the same job, on how my friends lacked drive. He said it casually, like observations, like he was offering me upgrades. "If you want to keep someone like me interested," he once joked, "you have to level up." I laughed at the time, but I remember how it felt. Like a quiet evaluation was always happening behind his eyes. Last Tuesday, I walked in around 6 p.m. He was sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop open and a notebook beside him. Deliberate. Prepared. "We need to talk," he said. "There's a specific stillness before impact." I felt it then. I set my bag down. "Okay." He folded his hands. "I've been thinking about where we're headed, whether this works long term." My stomach tightened, but my voice didn't. "And?" "It can work," he said, "but you need to make some changes." He slid the paper toward me. Typed, bullet points, formatted, like a performance review. The first line, "Your existence is embarrassing." I read it 3 times. Then I kept going. "You dress like you don't value yourself. Your hobbies are childish. Gaming and reading sci-fi. At 35 is unattractive. Your friends are low ambition. You've stayed in the same position for 5 years. That shows no drive. You're passive. You don't challenge me." There were 14 more, each one precise, controlled, designed to cut without raising his voice. I folded the paper once, then again. Looked at him. "Fair enough." He blinked. "What?" "You're right," I said calmly. "I'm clearly not meeting your standards. You should leave." "That's not what I said," he snapped. "I said fix these things. And I'm saying no." Silence expanded between us. "These are core parts of who I am," I continued. "If my existence embarrasses you, you shouldn't be here. You're being dramatic." "No," I said quietly. "I'm being accurate." He leaned back, frustrated. "I'm trying to help you grow. By telling me I'm embarrassing? It's honesty. And this is mine. I'm not interested in becoming someone else to keep you comfortable." His expression shifted. This wasn't how this scene was supposed to go. "You're breaking up with me over feedback?" "You broke up with me the moment you printed this." I stood, walked to the bedroom, pulled out suitcases. He followed. "Stop, let's talk this through." We did. I packed methodically. His suits, his shoes, his gym bag, the watch display he'd insisted on placing in the living room. He cycled through disbelief, anger, wounded pride. "You're overreacting." "No. You'll regret this." "I won't." By 9 p.m., most of his things were boxed and labeled. He sat on the couch, mascara-smudged ego cracking. "Where am I supposed to go?" "You have friends." "This is my home too." "No," I said gently. "It's mine. And you just told me I'm embarrassing inside it." That landed. At 10 p.m., he left with 2 suitcases and his laptop, said he'd return for the rest. After the door closed, the apartment felt different, quieter, lighter. I opened my laptop and changed the Wi-Fi password, updated my streaming logins. Not out of pettiness, out of clarity. Then I noticed something small. The spare key I'd given him, still on his keyring. I made a note to call a locksmith in the morning, because self-respect isn't loud. It's logistical. Wednesday morning, I called a locksmith. By noon, the locks were replaced. $200 for peace of mind. Worth every cent. At 11:07 p.m. the night before, my phone had buzzed. Him. "I can't connect to the Wi-Fi. What's the password?" I didn't respond. Then he called. Then another text. "Seriously, you changed it? That's petty, Elena." I stared at the screen for a long moment before replying. "You don't live here anymore. You don't need the password." 3 dots appeared instantly. "I still have stuff there. I need access to my cloud storage for work. Use your phone data. Not my problem. A pause. Then, you're acting like a child. I actually laughed at that. Number. I'm acting like someone who doesn't provide services to people who find her existence embarrassing. Come get your boxes tomorrow. He sent 5 more messages. I muted the conversation and slept better than I had in weeks. At 1 p.m., he texted again. I'll come by at 6 after work. I'll have your things by the door. Your key won't work anymore. You changed the locks? Yes. There was no response after that. I spent the afternoon moving his boxes into the entryway. Everything labeled. Bedroom, kitchen, office supplies. Even a separate box of miscellaneous might be yours. I wasn't going to give him a reason to return twice. At exactly 6 p.m. there was a knock. When I opened the door, he stood there with a woman beside him, his friend Claire. The same Claire who'd once told me I was refreshingly simple. I'd smiled then. I understood it differently now. She looked me up and down like I was something unpleasant stuck to her shoe. All your things are here, I said, stepping aside, just enough for the boxes to be visible, not enough for them to enter. He noticed the new lock immediately. You were serious. I'm consistent. Can I come in? He asked. No, I just want to talk. There's nothing left to clarify. Claire crossed her arms. You know, most people would at least try to improve themselves instead of throwing away 2 years. I met her gaze calmly. If someone handed you a list that began with, your existence is embarrassing, what would you call that? She was being honest, Claire shot back. Honesty without respect is cruelty. Ethan, because that was his name, Ethan, shifted uncomfortably. You're twisting it. No, I said softly. I'm quoting it. For a second, I saw something flicker across his face. Not remorse, not yet. Just the realization that he had miscalculated. You didn't even fight for us, he said. I tilted my head slightly. Fight for what? The privilege of auditioning for my own relationship? Claire scoffed. He ran a hand through his hair. I thought you loved me. I did, I said, past tense. That seemed to hit harder than anything else. They carried boxes down in 3 trips. I stood in the doorway each time, watching quietly. Not out of suspicion, out of closure. This was the physical dismantling of something that had already died at the kitchen table. On the final trip, he stopped in front of me. I didn't mean it the way you took it. Yes, you did. I was frustrated. I need a partner who pushes herself. And I need a partner who doesn't look at me like a renovation project. Claire tugged his sleeve. He deserves someone ambitious. And I deserve someone kind, I replied evenly. He hesitated. We could start over. No, I said, because now I know how you see me. He swallowed. You're being cold. No, I answered. I'm being finished. They left. I closed the door, turned the new lock with a quiet click, and leaned back against it. I expected to cry. Instead, I felt relief, sharp and undeniable. Thursday afternoon, my phone buzzed with a name I didn't expect. Mrs. Carter. His mother. She'd always been polite to me, warm, even. I hesitated, then answered. Elena, sweetheart, she began gently. I heard there was some sort of misunderstanding. There wasn't, I said calmly. He's devastated. Consequences feel like devastation when you're not used to them. A pause. He says you refused to talk. We talked, I replied. He was very clear about how he feels about me. He didn't mean to hurt you. He printed it, I said softly. Formatted it. That's not accidental. Silence stretched between us. He loves you. He loves the version of me he imagined editing, I said. Not the one who exists. She exhaled. Can you at least consider forgiveness? I already forgave him, I said. That's why I let him go. After that, she didn't argue. By Friday, Ethan had started posting vague quotes on social media. Sometimes you try to help someone grow and they punish you for it. You can't save someone who refuses to evolve. Narcissists hate accountability. Mutual friends started reaching out. Some confused, some skeptical. A few had clearly only heard his version. Did you really kick him out over constructive criticism? I didn't defend myself with emotion. I sent them a photo. The list. Zoomed in on the first line. Your existence is embarrassing. One by one, responses shifted. Oh, wow. That's harsh. Okay, that's not feedback. The tone online changed by Saturday. His post stopped. Claire unfollowed me. I didn't notice until later. Sunday afternoon, my phone buzzed again. Can we meet for coffee, please, just to talk? I stared at the message. Part of me was curious. Part of me knew exactly what it would be. An attempt to soften the narrative. To make me doubt myself. To reframe cruelty as passion. I typed slowly. Why? Because I miss you. Because I made a mistake. Because I want to fix this. I read that line twice. Fix this. As if I were still something adjustable. Fix what? My personality or your perception? There was a long pause before his reply. Both. That answered everything. Number, I'm done. Please stop contacting me. I'm not giving up on us. I felt something steady settle inside my chest. There is no us. There is you. And there's me. Separately. Accept it. Then I blocked his number. For the first time since Tuesday night, the silence felt complete. But silence doesn't always last. 2 weeks later, I walked into a coffee shop on Maple Street. And he was there. 2 weeks. That's how long it took for coincidence to test my resolve. I walked into the coffee shop on Maple Street, laptop bag over my shoulder, already thinking about emails I needed to answer. The place smelled like roasted espresso and cinnamon. Safe. Neutral territory. I didn't see him at first. He saw me. Elena. His voice hit before my eyes found him. He was sitting near the window, alone. For half a second, my body reacted before my brain did. A flicker of old familiarity. Then memory settled back in place. I nodded once. Ethan. I kept walking towards the counter. He stood and followed. Can we talk? Just for a minute? I don't think that's a good idea. Please. There was something different in his tone. Not dominance. Not irritation. Urgency. I ordered my coffee anyway. Oat milk latte? Same as always. I refused to let him disrupt routine. Not even for a minute. He hovered beside me while I paid. I've been in therapy, he said quickly, working on myself. That's good, I replied evenly. It's because of what happened. I've been unpacking why I did that. I accepted my cup and walked to a small table in the corner. He followed and sat across from me without asking. I didn't tell him to leave. Not yet. He leaned forward, hands clasped. I owe you a real apology. I watched him carefully. Therapy language sat differently in his mouth. Less polished. More strained. I was projecting, he said. I didn't respond. My ex-girlfriend used to criticize me constantly. Nothing was ever enough. I wasn't ambitious enough, not driven enough, not impressive enough. It messed with my head. There it was, the ghost in the room. And when I met you, he continued, you were comfortable. You liked your life. You weren't chasing something bigger all the time. That bothered you, I said quietly. Yes, he swallowed. Because I thought success meant never being satisfied. My ex was always pushing, networking, competing, climbing. I thought that was what strength looked like. So you tried to turn me into her. His silence was confirmation. I didn't even realize I was doing it at first, he said. But when you didn't change, I panicked. I thought if I could just push harder, you'd become more. More what? More impressive, more aligned with where I think I should be. I studied him. So you printed a list. He closed his eyes briefly. That was cruel. Yes. I know that now. Did you know it when you wrote it? That question lingered. His jaw tightened. I knew it would hurt. Honesty, finally. But I thought pain would motivate you. I leaned back slightly. That's the difference between us, I said. You think love is a tool. He flinched. I was insecure, he admitted. You were content in ways I've never been. It made me feel behind. So instead of dealing with that, I said calmly, you tried to shrink me. Silence again. The cafe noise hummed around us. Cups clinking, low conversation, ordinary life continuing while ours sat dissected on a small wooden table. I'm sorry, he said. Genuinely, that line about your existence, I can't believe I wrote that. But you did. I was angry. No, I corrected gently. You were revealing. His eyes filled slightly. I love you. I felt it then, the old pull. Not love, familiarity, memory, habit. Maybe you do, I thought. But not in a way that's safe for me. I appreciate the apology, I said carefully. And I hope therapy helps you. But it doesn't change my decision. Why not? His voice cracked slightly. People make mistakes. That wasn't a mistake. He frowned. Mistakes are forgetting anniversaries, losing your temper for a moment. That list was planned, structured, intentional. I didn't think you'd leave. There it was. Not, I shouldn't have done it. But I didn't expect consequences. That's the part you're actually upset about, I said softly. He looked away. You thought I'd fight for you, I continued, that I'd try to prove myself. I wanted you to care enough to improve. I already cared, I said. I just didn't agree that I needed fixing. His shoulders slumped. I miss you. I don't miss how I felt around you. That landed heavier than anything else. He stared at the table. You felt small, he guessed. Yes. And you don't anymore? No. That answer surprised even me with its certainty. He tried once more. We could rebuild, slowly. I shook my head. Trust isn't drywall, Ethan. You don't patch it and repaint. He exhaled shakily. So this is it? This was it the night you handed me that paper. He studied my face like he was searching for cracks, for hesitation. He didn't find any. I never meant to be the villain, he whispered. Villains rarely do. I stood up, leaving half my coffee untouched. He didn't follow this time. As I walked out, I felt something settle permanently into place. Closure doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like quiet certainty. That night, I lay in bed replaying the conversation. Not because I doubted myself, but because I finally understood something. He hadn't wanted to destroy me. He wanted to control the outcome of his own insecurities, and I had been the nearest surface to project them onto. The next morning, I unblocked his number briefly. Not to message him, just to confirm something. There were no new attempts, no dramatic pleas, no late-night apologies. Just silence. Good. But silence has layers. And 3 months later, another one would break. 3 months passed. Long enough for the sharp edges to dull. Long enough for the apartment to feel fully mine again. Not just legally, but emotionally. His coffee mug was gone. His shoes weren't by the door. The air felt unjudged. I still dressed casually on weekends. Still read science fiction in the evenings. Still met my low-ambition friends for trivia nights where nobody cared about networking. And something unexpected happened. I started laughing more. I met Daniel through a mutual friend at a birthday dinner. He teaches high school history, talks about his students like they're unpredictable side characters in a sitcom, loves his job even though it doesn't pay spectacularly. On our third date, he asked what I did for fun. Reading, gaming, long walks where I pretend I'm thinking profound thoughts, but I'm actually planning dinner. He grinned. That sounds perfect. No performance review, no raised eyebrow, just interest. By the 6th week, we were comfortable. The quiet kind of comfortable. Not stagnant, not complacent, just easy. One evening at his place, we were sitting cross-legged on his couch, half watching an anime series while debating plot holes. He paused the show. "Can I ask about your ex?" he said gently. I considered deflecting. Instead, I pulled out my phone. "I'll show you." I'd kept a photo of the list. Not out of obsession. Out of memory. Daniel read silently. His brow furrowed. Then he reached the first line. "Your existence is embarrassing." He blinked. Jesus. Yeah. Who says that to someone they love? Someone who doesn't, I replied. He kept reading, jaw tightening slightly. "And you just packed his things?" he asked. "Yes." "And changed the locks?" "Yes." He stared at me for a moment, then let out a low whistle. That's the calmest breakup I've ever heard. I wasn't calm, I admitted. I was hurt. He looked at me differently then, not pity. Respect. "I'm glad you didn't stay," he said quietly. "So am I." He reached for my hand. And for the first time, the list felt smaller. A week later, I received a message request on social media. His name. I almost deleted it without reading. Curiosity 1. I heard you're seeing someone. I hope he appreciates you more than I did. I've been doing a lot of work on myself. You were right. I wasn't in love with you. I was in love with the idea of shaping someone into what I thought I needed. That wasn't fair. I hope you're happy. I read it twice. I waited for anger, for vindication, for something. There was nothing. Just acknowledgement. Growth sometimes comes too late for reconciliation. And that's okay. I didn't respond. I closed the message. The list is still saved on my phone. Sometimes I think about deleting it. But it isn't a wound anymore. It's a bookmark. A reminder of the moment I chose self-respect over negotiation. People say relationships require compromise. They do. But compromise is an erasure. It isn't apologizing for existing. It isn't reshaping your personality to secure someone's approval. I exist exactly as I am. Comfortable in my apartment. Comfortable in my job. Comfortable in my friendships. Comfortable in my hobbies. And now I'm with someone who doesn't treat comfort like a flaw. Daniel doesn't want to upgrade me. He laughs at my sci-fi theories. He asks about my day. He tells me about his students who think the Cold War happened in winter. There's no list, no evaluation, no quiet measuring, just presence. Sometimes I think back to that Tuesday evening, to the kitchen table, to the paper sliding across it, to the moment everything clarified. Your existence is embarrassing. It did hurt, but it also liberated me. Because once someone says that out loud, you're free. Free to stop proving, free to stop shrinking, free to stop auditioning for love. Some people fall in love with projects. Some people fall in love with people. Ethan loved the project. Daniel loves the person. And the Wi-Fi password? He never got it. Small victories.